This is the story of a soldier who carried nearly 5 tons of ammunition in a single day. She was wounded twice. She kept going. She made 51 trips across open rice paddies and up a 45-degree mountain slope, alone, under fire, while 500 artillery and mortar rounds per minute tore the sky apart above her. For what she did, the United States Marine Corps gave her an official rank, the only time in Marine Corps history that has ever happened. This is the story of how a horse became one of the most decorated soldiers in the Korean War. Her name, at first, was not Reckless. It was Ah Chim Hai. In Korean, that means flame of the morning. She was born in South Korea in 1948, a chestnut mare with a white blaze and 3 white stockings. Small for a horse, under 900 pounds, 14 hands high. She was bred to race. But the Korean War started when she was 2 years old, and the racetrack in Seoul went quiet. A young stable boy named Kim had been caring for her, feeding her, grooming her. He called her Flame. He loved her. In October of 1952, a U.S. Marine lieutenant arrived at the Seoul racetrack. He was looking for a pack animal, something strong enough to carry heavy ammunition up steep mountain terrain where vehicles could not go. Kim had what he needed. But Kim had a reason to sell that had nothing to do with money. His sister had stepped on a landmine. She had lost her leg. $250 would buy her a prosthetic. Kim sold his horse. He cried. The Marines renamed her Reckless after the recoilless rifle she would spend her life supplying. From the first night, she roamed the camp freely. She slept in the Marines' tents on cold nights. She ate their food, scrambled eggs, beer, Coca-Cola. Once, about $30 worth of poker chips. The Marines became her herd, and she followed them everywhere. But before she could go to war with them, she had to be trained. A sergeant named Latham was put in charge. He called it Hoof Camp. He taught her to step over communication lines and barbed wire. He taught her to lie flat on the ground under incoming fire. He taught her to run to the nearest bunker whenever she heard the word incoming. She learned each supply route after only a handful of guided trips. By the 4th or 5th run, nobody was leading her anymore. She was doing it alone. March of 1953. The Chinese People's Volunteer Army launched a massive assault on a chain of Marine outposts in Western Korea. They called the outposts the Nevada cities: Carson, Reno, Elko, Vegas. The fighting at Outpost Vegas became some of the bloodiest of the entire Korean War. Over 1,000 American casualties in 5 days. And at the peak of the assault, 500 mortar and artillery rounds per minute were falling on that mountain. One veteran described the sound as 20 tornadoes tearing at a countryside. Into that, Reckless went to work. Before dawn on the 26th of March, she was loaded with 8 recoilless rifle rounds, 192 pounds of live ammunition. She crossed the open rice paddies at the base of the hill. She climbed the 45-degree slope to the firing positions. She was unloaded, and she turned around and went back for more. After the 4th trip, nobody was with her anymore. She had memorized the route. She loaded up at the ammunition supply point. She crossed the paddies. She climbed the slope. She delivered. She came back. Trip after trip after trip. Alone. At some point during that day, a piece of shrapnel caught her above the left eye. Another cut opened on her left flank. She kept going. By the time the sun went down on the 26th of March, Reckless had made 51 solo trips. She had carried 386 rounds of ammunition, over 9,000 pounds, nearly 5 tons, across more than 35 miles of active battlefield terrain. The guns never stopped firing, because she never stopped coming back. She also used her body to shield 4 Marines from enemy fire. She carried the wounded back down the hill. The next morning, she appeared a little lame. She still reported for duty. One Marine who watched her from the ridge that day said it decades later at a ceremony honoring her. She wasn't a horse. She was a Marine. After the armistice was signed, Reckless celebrated with the platoon. She was seen staggering around camp the next morning after perhaps one too many the night before. But when it came time to bring her home, the Marine Corps faced a problem. She was not government property, which meant government funds could not be used to transport her to the United States. An executive at a shipping company had read about her in a magazine article. He offered to bring her home on one of his ships, free of charge. She arrived in the United States on November 10, 1954, Marine Corps birthday. She attended the birthday ball in San Francisco as the guest of honor. She was given a slice of cake. On April 10, 1954, Reckless had been promoted to sergeant, official, on the record, the only animal ever granted an official rank in the United States Marine Corps. In 1959, the Commandant of the Marine Corps himself promoted her to Staff Sergeant at a ceremony with a 19-gun salute and a 1,700-man parade. She retired in 1960 with full military honors. Her retirement pay, per official Marine Corps documents, was listed as free quarters and feed. She spent her final years at the base in California. She gave birth to 4 foals. She walked in parades. She appeared on television. She attended birthday balls. She died on May 13, 1968. She was buried with full military honors. Her medals were never kept in a box. They were never hung on a wall. They were pinned to a blanket, a scarlet and gold horse blanket, because she was a horse. But she was also a Marine, and the Marine Corps does not give its medals away carelessly. In 1990, Life magazine named her one of the 100 greatest heroes of all time. In 2013, a bronze statue of her was unveiled at the National Museum of the Marine Corps. She has shown the way the Marines remembered her, head down, legs driving, loaded with ammunition, climbing a hill she had climbed 51 times before. There are people who have tried to have her reburied at Arlington National Cemetery among the nation's honored dead. The campaign is still ongoing. Kim, the boy who sold her because he had to, because his sister needed a leg. He cried when she left. He never knew what she became. If you've watched this far, this channel is for you. We tell true stories about real acts of courage that the world almost forgot. Every Tuesday. Subscribe so you don't miss what's next. Next Tuesday, we're going to tell you about a town in Maine, a children's library, and a fines ledger that nobody could explain. We'll see you then.